Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a year of miracles with Inner Bloom. We are on lesson 41. And the idea for today is God goes with me wherever I go. So, God goes with me wherever I go. The whole point of this lesson, the whole thing that we're trying to get you to see is that you are never actually alone. You are never actually alone. You always have that highest power source, infinite being, etc., which is you. But you always have this with you, the all. You are never alone. God walks with you. God goes with you. Source, infinite being, whatever you want it, however you want to, whatever word you want to use, it's all just pointers to the same thing. The infinite self, the infinite power from which all creation arises. It goes with you every step of the way. The feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression, the feelings of the fear of loss and the fears of abandonment and all of those types of things, those come from a false belief in separation. When you feel separate, you feel lonely. When you feel separate, anxiety arises. When you feel separate, depression arises. And when you feel separate, fear of loss arises. So coming back home to realizing that we are never alone, we are never separate. The whole, the all, the power, the all powerful, the infinite being walks with us every step of the way is the cure to the loneliness, the anxiety, the depression, the fear of loss. Our problems, another thing that this lesson goes over is that our problems, our ills, our um, issues in life, they were never real. They were evolved, they were manifested, or I want to say evolved, but that's not the right word. They were created out of these these feelings and these beliefs and these thoughts of, again, anxiety, depression, loneliness, fear of loss, etc. And so the ego invents all these cures for these ills, which we talked about before. We talked about how healing is possible just when you see yourself whole, when you actually see yourself as whole, when you see yourself as one with the infinite being, with God, with source, you can heal anything. You can genuinely heal anything. But because most people and ego believes that there is separation, we invent cures for the ills of our reality. And there's nothing wrong with it. Again, I think of them as placebos, like a sugar pill. If it helps bridge that gap, like a little bridging of the gap between like, okay, well, I don't actually see myself as whole. I don't actually believe I can cure this just through clear seeing itself, just from releasing limiting beliefs and these dense feelings by itself. And so they can be bridges to allow that to happen, like a permission slip or a placebo. But what this lesson really wants us to start seeing is that those were all just illusory cures. They were something that the ego had to make up because of the belief in separation. What this lesson wants us to do is come closer to and come home to the truth of who and what we really are and what power is actually available to us and what actually is the cure. So even it's like when you take a sugar pill or a placebo, when you take a placebo, the actual sugar pill or placebo isn't actually doing anything, right? But but when somebody takes a sugar pill, there seems to be this miraculous healing or this miraculous cure because mind over matter, because the belief is so deep. They truly believe that they took the medication for this specific thing, that everything else happens because that belief of being ill is no longer there. That belief of that was creating the whatever it was is no longer there because they believe that they took the pill that takes it away. So because that's no longer there, healing happens. And so mind over matter, the sugar pill isn't what created the healing. It was that the there was no longer that belief that they had to be ill or that they had to feel a certain way because they thought the pill took it away, right? So that everything, even down to the spiritual tools, those are placebos and sugar pills as well, because we have the ability to, it's like if you pay attention to the Bible or Jesus Christ, that he could just like heal somebody just right there. We have the ability to do that. We just don't see it clearly. We just don't know it. We just don't believe it. So even like I said, the spiritual tools, the affirmations, the EFT tapping, which I love EFT tapping. It's done so much for me in my life. All those things, those are also placebos. Those are also permission slips. And yes, continue to use them if they are needed, especially like in very serious situations, but also allow yourself to start to open up to this idea that that the problem was never real. That the problem was never real, and God is with you wherever you go. And once you open yourself up to seeing this, and once you open yourself up to seeing the other lessons that we have taught and will continue to teach throughout this, you can get to a place where healing, miraculous healing, becomes natural. So yeah, you are already perfect and whole. It's its source is always with you. The source of healing, the source of perfection, the source of wholeness is always with you. The source of joy, the source of love is always with you. The very source is like an infinite fountain pouring through you. That's the way that I see it. This infinite light, this infinite fountain pouring through you. There's no end, there's no limits. The source of all life goes with you wherever you go. The source of all life, all creation goes with you wherever you go. God goes with me wherever I go. The source of all goes with you wherever you go. Of course, you're not going to believe this yet, but that's okay. It's not asking you to believe this yet. It's just asking you to start to open up. Start to open your heart and your mind up to this. You will break through the clouds. You will break through those pieces that are resistant to this as we continue through the course, if it's something you truly desire, if it's something you're truly dedicated to. Again, it says you will succeed if the desire is there. There is no way you cannot succeed if the desire and the commitment and the dedication and the devotion is there. So the way that you're going to practice this lesson is in the morning, or as close to the first thing in the morning as possible. You're going to spend about 3 to 5 minutes, and you're going to sit quietly with your eyes closed. You're going to repeat the idea, God goes with me wherever I go. And then you're going to, it's going to be kind of like a meditation practice. So you're going to turn inward, turn your attention and your awareness inward. And imagine the thoughts kind of like clouds, and sink past the thoughts. Go past the thoughts. You're not trying to resist them. You're not trying to make them go away, but you're not engaging with them. You're moving past them inward and past the thoughts of the world, past everything, to reach this light, this fountain, this source within. And don't worry if you don't feel like you're getting there. The goal is to just sit with it and move past the thoughts to the best of your ability. And then for the shorter practice periods, just repeat the idea with your eyes closed as often as possible throughout the day. That's it.
Thank you. When you were saying that again, what comes to mind, obviously, because you're saying the clouds, it's a reminder that the sun is always there. Even when we look outside and we see a cloudy, rainy day, and we can forget that the sun is still shining, but beyond those clouds, the sun is there. And so, what Corina was saying there is, your thoughts are the clouds, but that the light behind the clouds is the sun, and you are the sun. You are shining bright like the sun, right? And that never goes away. And that is the true essence of who you really are. And what else is coming through for me is Michelangelo, the sculptor. You know, he saw the sculpture through the clay and just chipped away at the clay. And that's all we're doing. We're chipping away at the illusions that are not in alignment with the true being of who we really are. That's all we're doing. The illusions, the stories, the false narratives that we've had to not had to, but we've chosen to believe in to, live our lives up until now. However, it's not the truth of who we really are. And this is what this lesson is showing us. God, that light, that sunshine is always there within you, that untouchable, that unchangeable being and essence of who you really are. And I remember when I was in Bali, gosh, that feels so long ago. I was in Bali and I felt really, really sad, really like there was a moment in time where I felt really sad, really overwhelmed, and I literally was just I felt in despair. And it was a story that I got caught up in, and I caught myself. I caught myself and I was like, hang on a minute. The observer behind all the thoughts could see the thoughts, and that was what was making me feel sad and feel like overwhelmed and feel anxious. And I just paused in stillness and almost just paused and everything stopped. And I just said, I was like, God, please be here with me now. Because I knew there was something beyond what I was feeling in that moment. I knew what I was feeling and what I was seeing and what I was hearing were stories, were illusions. And because I couldn't tap into that, I asked for guidance to tap into it. And I sat there in the stillness, and I kid you not, my whole body went electric. And I just felt this loving essence, like literally just this pure love and warmth glow from within. Like, ask and it is given. If you can catch yourself in the moment and ask for it, it will be given to you. You just have to be open to receive it, right? You can even do this. You don't have to be in despair. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to be depressed in any single moment. You could do it now, listening to this. Just sit in the stillness and say, I mean, what is this? God goes with me wherever I go. So you could say, God, show me your presence. God, show me you're with me. God, show me you're within me. Right. And then allow yourself to be still, to receive, to feel. Because I promise you, God's source, infinite being, the true essence of who you really are is there. You're just not being still enough to see it, to hear it, to feel it, to sense it. Right. You're just denying that it exists. But even like I said, on a cloudy day, the sun is always there. And so you have to remember that with your true being. Even when outside looks like absolute chaos, your finances, your relationships, your job, your health, right? They're the clouds. Beyond that is the sunshine. Powerful, bright, untouchable, never changing, always constant, always the same. And so this lesson is to remind us of that immense power that lies within us and all things.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.